Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dylan James, and I'm a mindset coach that loves to specifically focus on relationships. However, if there are other areas of your life that you're looking to create peace, harmony, and abundance in, then feel free to reach out to me. Remember, life is not happening to you. It is happening through you. When you become the change you seek to experience, you will experience that change everywhere you go. You are showing the world how to treat you based on what you believe and feel about yourself and the value and meaning you assign to the set of circumstances that are in front of you. The circumstances don't exist when you decide that you no longer give them power, when you're in your power. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you're not ignoring your reality. Okay, so some of you, I've been seeing your comments on my channel, or I've been getting DMs on Instagram, and I just want to say first and foremost too, thank you for all the new people on my channel and all the likes on my videos and all the comments. I know I haven't gotten the chance to go through and respond to every single comment, but this weekend I have some more free time, so I will be getting a little bit more interactive on my channel, and I may or may not be doing a giveaway soon, so you may want to stay tuned for that. Okay, so let's get into today's topic though. Okay, all right, I labeled this video, you're not ignoring your circumstances. Okay, so I saw a comment or a DM, I believe, where somebody was asking, like, how do I ignore the fact that somebody is married? Like, my person is married to somebody else. Okay, and I explained this in yesterday's video, which I'm going to link up here. Okay, when you're shifting into a desired state, your number one priority has to be your stability, meaning you need to get to a space where you feel good. Okay, and when circumstances really hold no power, I kind of use a silly example in my coaching that I'm going to share here with you all to elaborate what it's going to feel like. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example here so that you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Okay, it's kind of a silly example, but it's really useful if you can kind of understand what I'm saying, which you're going to be able to. So what I will say to somebody when I'm in a coaching session and I'm explaining that circumstances don't matter, I'll ask them, what did you have for lunch yesterday? Okay, well, what did I have for lunch yesterday? Yesterday for lunch, I had a protein bar, right? Okay, so have I thought about what I had for lunch yesterday, all day today? No, I haven't. And when I think about this, oh, I had a protein bar, it doesn't really mean anything. I don't really care. I'm going to move on with my day. To me, it's done. There's no relevancy. There's nothing that I'm feeling or thinking about it deeply. Can I recall it to my memory? Sure, I can recall what I had for lunch yesterday, but then I'm able to just it doesn't matter. I can move on with my day. Okay. That is going to be the same experience that you have when you really step into making the circumstances powerless. So you come to peace with them. Okay. Meaning it's not even in your awareness anymore. I don't care what I had for lunch yesterday because it's done. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter, right? Can I bring it up in my memory? Sure. Is it distressing? No, not really, right? That is going to be how it feels when you really get to that space of the circumstances don't matter. They don't exist. They're unaffecting me because you stabilize so much in your state of being. Now, how do you do that? How do you do that? The first thing when it comes to manifesting, and a lot of people talk about this online, is you have to kind of accept the reality that's going on in front of you. Okay. And the only way that you're going to be able to accept the reality that's going on in front of you is if you internally start to move away from it. Okay. So I was explaining this again in yesterday's video. I was in a circumstance with Adam where there was no contact. He was supposed to be gone for a month. And I could have worried because it was kind of at the beginning of our relationship. Like, oh man, is this are we going to be fine? Blah, 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 blah. There were a whole bunch of doubts and fears and all these things coming up. And I cried for 3 days and I was really not stable for about 3 days. And then all of a sudden on the third day, I was like, you know what? I'm just not feeling this. I'm not in this space to be sad. And I know if I stay in this dwelling low space, it's going to create negatively in my reality. Now, outside of the manifestational realm, let's think about this logically. Why would that create negatively in my reality? Well, if for whatever reason, once Adam did get the chance to reach out to me, if I was sad and missing him and, oh my God, I wish we could talk more, that conversation would be much different. It would have unfolded much more different to where I probably would have projected that onto him and be like, I miss you so much. And then he would have gotten stressed. And then it just wouldn't have been a good experience for either of us, which would have perpetuated the pattern and the storyline that we're not communicating, right? But I did something else. I went in the opposite direction to where I was like, I'm at peace with the fact that he's not here right now. I'm going to do anything I can, anything, literally anything I can in my reality to just feel better, which was writing a to-do list every morning, running, going on a run, working out, stretching, filling my day with things that were just enjoyable for me. And anytime that the awareness of the circumstance came into my mind, I just said, it's done, it's okay. And I brought the whole focus on stabilizing myself. So I meditated like 3 to 5 times a day. Like I really intentionally shifted myself for a few days to where my awareness of the circumstance became like something that I ate for lunch yesterday, where it was like, okay, yeah, whatever, I don't really care, it's done. The moment that I stabilized, I could then go into the feeling of, okay, if Adam were here now that I've kind of come to peace and I've accepted reality. And then when I say accepted it, I don't mean like I'm accepting it as final. It's just no longer resistant for me. It's not bothersome for me. Okay, that's really the best way to word it. It's not something that I'm thinking about all the time. I don't really care. I feel really good. I can go do anything else in my reality and I feel good. The moment that I got into that space of general stability, then I could go in and be like, all right, if Adam were here right now, if this was not happening, how would I feel? I would feel love. What do I feel like when I'm with Adam? I'm feeling joyful. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling peaceful. I'm feeling warm in my chest. I feel really good. Oh, wow, I can feel that feeling right now. Okay, so I'm going to just keep on feeling like Adam is here. I'm going to keep on feeling like Adam is here with me right now. The moment that I started doing that, I started getting consistent communication from him. Now let's think about this again logically. Let's go from the two perspectives here. If I did not consciously shift myself out of the resistant state with that circumstance, and I was still sad and I was dwelling and I was missing him and I was worried about the relationship, oh my God, are we going to be okay? Blah, 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 all that, right? And he reached out to me. I can guarantee you from that state of being, I probably would have expressed how much I miss him, how difficult it is that we're apart from one another. He would have probably been feeling guilty because he feels bad, which would cause him to not want to reach out to me because it's just not an enjoyable experience for him either. The whole circumstance would have had so much power to where it would have caused us to disconnect even more, which would have caused me to be like, oh my God, it's not working. He's not talking to me. I feel so sad, dwelling and diving deeper into that feeling state, right? I can guarantee you that's what would have happened. What happened because I shifted myself is the circumstance was no longer bothersome for me. And I was feeling good even without him. I was feeling like he was there even without him being there, like love and happy and fulfilled and joyful. So when he did reach out to me, like he would be like, I don't know when I'm going to call you next. I would say, don't even worry about it. If you can't call me for a few days, it's good. Because me in my internal state of being the awareness of the circumstance wasn't there anymore because I was feeling so good. And the moment that I stopped because I was like, it's all good. Don't even worry about it. If you can't call me for a few days, I don't even care. He would hang up the phone and call me back 10 minutes later because there was no pressure. There was no focus on the circumstance. There was nothing that I needed to manipulate. It wasn't real to me anymore. Therefore, I started to we got to enjoy each other's company again, which made it even more enjoyable to find a way to reach out and talk to me. And it shifted that circumstance completely to where it even opened up the possibility of him coming home early and just all these other manifestations that occurred. Okay. So the main point that I want to say here is you're not ignoring the circumstance. You need to move away from it in your state of being internally and stabilize. You need to find a way to be okay with it there to where you can recall it in your mind and be like, it doesn't really matter anymore. So that means you need to start feeling good again. Okay. If you are sitting here trying to reframe the circumstance over and over and over and over and over again in your mind, you're going to feel like you're trying to convince yourself of something that's not going on, and it's going to not feel good. Like you're going to be trying to reframe it and then looking out to your reality and being like, did it change? Did it change yet? I'm not feeling good. Did it change yet? Oh my gosh, why is this showing up this way? Oh my gosh, it's getting worse. And you're just diving deeper into that lower state of being, and it's not going to be a very fun process. Okay. If you can take a few days to just say, okay, this is going on. It's fine. It's fine. I'm going to take all of my energy, every ounce of energy in my state, in my being, to just feel better and to come to peace with this going on. That does not mean that I'm going to change it in my mind. That means that I'm going to put all of my focus, every ounce of energy into myself to fill my day with things that I enjoy doing, with things that feel good. And anytime that my mind goes to this distressing circumstance, I'm going to just give myself the pass right now to kind of let it go, to be okay with it, to know that it's there and be okay with it, but it doesn't have power anymore. If you can do that, if you can really discipline yourself into doing that, you're going to shift out of the resistance that you feel towards that circumstance. And if you're really, really skilled at manifesting, then you can identify the limiting beliefs that are creating the resistance. Okay, so for instance, for me, when I generally stabilized out of that circumstance, the reason why it was such a distressing circumstance for me was because I was feeling insecure. I was doubting our ability to be in a relationship. I was feeling lack. I was wanting validation. I was not feeling seen, heard, or loved, right? How did I deal with that? I identified the limiting beliefs that were forcing my awareness onto the circumstance, okay? Which was generally stabilizing myself. I did 3 to 5 meditations a day, only 10-minute meditations where I focused on statements like, I am worthy, I am deserving, I am believing in my ability to create anything that I want, I am stable, I am secure, I am seen, I am validated. I generally stabilized my state of being. So I got into a space where I could feel peaceful in my reality. It was no longer bothersome for me. Even if it was there, it wasn't bothersome for me. The moment I stabilized, then I could go with some intentional things that I wanted to create, and they created very quickly, very, very quickly, because the circumstance was no longer alive in my mind anymore. My awareness of it was like what I had for lunch yesterday. I don't care. I can recall, I can bring the memory to the surface of my consciousness if I want to, but why would I? It's done. It's irrelevant now, because I'm already feeling so good that I don't need to focus on it or worry about it anymore. If you can take the time to discipline yourself into generally stabilizing that way, you're going to see that you don't even need to ignore the circumstance anymore, or like convince yourself that something else is happening, because it just loses all its power and meaning because you're feeling so good. And it just becomes kind of like a distant memory that is not constantly being brought into your awareness. That is the goal. If you can get into that stable space, the moment you're in that stable space, then you can come in with some new intentions. Like, okay, I don't want to say the specific things that I manifested, but just let me take my word for it. There were a few things where I played with, and then literally I would see that manifest very quickly, because I was no longer trying to affirm against something. I was in a stable space where I was like, oh, that's a really cool thought. Okay, I'm going to entertain that thought for a little bit. I feel really good. And then I would be able to kind of drop it and know that it was done and move on with my day and not really need to see it manifest. And then it would happen really quickly. That is the sweet spot. So you're not going to ignore the circumstances. You need to internally move away from the resistance that you have to them. You need to be able to come to peace with them. If they're still distressing for you, if it feels very real, you need to focus solely on your self-concept and getting into a stable space where it becomes like a distant memory, okay? Once your consciousness shifts away, this is going to be much easier to implement. Getting those changes is going to be much easier, because then you're not going to feel like you're affirming against something. You're going to remove that feeling of time urgency. You're going to remove the feeling of lack and desperation, of need, of sadness, of grief. Once you generally stabilize and you're saving, you should be getting results very, very, very quickly, okay? And that nightly affirmation tapes really help you do this unconsciously. So like I've said in previous content, you're going to notice that as you sleep with these tapes on, you wake up feeling better and better and better. Now, if there are specific things that you have resistance to, then you need to apply what I just talked about in this video to those specific things. You need to consciously move away from them, move away from the resistance, okay, for a few days until you fully stabilize, and then you should start to see movement in your reality regarding that thing. If thinking of that thing is still triggering for you, or if it keeps coming into your awareness, you need to set aside time to stabilize yourself out of that resistance specifically, okay? So anytime that your mind goes there and it doesn't feel good, you need, like I would do a meditation in that moment and go into my self-concept until I was no longer distressed by that circumstance and I made peace with it, and then I could shift in a new direction. Focus solely on your stability. Once you're stable, you should get results. Okay. So you're not ignoring anything. You're not denying reality. I still dealt with it logically, right? So Adam would call me and be like, I don't know, I'm going to talk to you. But because the circumstance no longer felt real to me, there was no urgency for me. So I could deal with it and be like, it's okay, sweetie. If you can't call me for a few days, don't even worry about it. And because I was in just that space where I just wasn't buying it and I was feeling good, I got tons of movement. Okay. So you're going to have to deal with it logically, which is why I'm saying you're not going to ignore the circumstance. You're going to move away from it internally to where it no longer holds power and it's no longer distressing for you. If you can shift in that new direction, which you will be able to, you will get a lot of results, because you're going to start creating a new energy, a new dichotomy with you and this person where that no longer holds power, and you're going to shift out of that reality. Okay. Alrighty. That's all you need to do. It's that easy. Okay. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. There's nothing else. Feel good in your reality. Go do anything else you want. It's done. If you have resistance, stabilize away from the resistance and then start choosing deliberately what you want to manifest. And because you're stable, you're not going to really need to see it. You're not going to really care. You're going to be able to drop it, move on with your day, and you'll get results. Okay, it's done. It's that easy. Okay, you don't need to be affirming all day long. You just need to get into a stable state of being. Once you're stable, you can bring things into your mind, and then you're going to let it go and know it's done, and you're going to see results really quickly, okay? But you have to stabilize yourself first, all right? Okay, beautiful. And also look at your behavior. Okay, so somebody just wrote, Dylan, I stalked the third party. You need to look at the behaviors that you have and ask yourself, why do I have this behavior? Where is this resistance coming from? So if you're stalking somebody or you're doing all of these things, that is coming from your self-concept. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm feeling threatened. I'm not believing in myself. I'm not trusting. I'm not feeling like I'm chosen. That is where you need to generally stabilize. You need to cut those behaviors out. Okay. So anytime that you want to do that stuff, you need to really, really ask yourself, what self-concept belief? A self-concept belief is an I am statement. So what belief do I have about myself that is manifesting this behavior and this experience? Don't look at the circumstance. Don't try and change it in your mind. There's no third party. There's no third party. No, make it about yourself. Why am I looking for a third party? Why am I stalking? I'm stalking because I don't feel good enough. I'm not trusting. I'm not believing in myself. I'm not feeling worthy. I'm not feeling chosen. Then you start to stabilize in that you need to cut those behaviors out and you need to call yourself out and really in that moment shift yourself until that behavior becomes like a distant memory that is no longer a part of your daily experience. That's how you stabilize yourself, okay? So really be conscious of yourself in each moment and kind of when you're stabilizing yourself, you need to step into a space of observing yourself. You're observing your behaviors and you're asking yourself, what beliefs do I hold about myself that are creating this behavior? If you can identify the belief, then you start stabilizing generally away from that behavior and away from that state of being until it becomes no longer relevant. The moment it becomes no longer relevant and you dissolve the resistance, that is where you can step in with a new story, a new affirmation, a new belief, a new assumption, and you're going to see it manifest. But you have to stabilize first, okay? Alrighty, I love you all so much. I will see you in my next video. Thank you for all the thumbs up. Thank you for all the support on my channel. You got this. You just need to really see that it's coming from you. So your main focus is here. Once this feels good and you no longer are distressed by the things in your reality, you're going to be able to handle them logically. And not only handle them logically, you're going to make them so powerless that it changes. Okay? You're powerful enough to do that. If you can create the undesired circumstances through your disbelief, you can change them through your self-belief. Think about that. If you can create undesired circumstances with your disbelief, you can change them with your self-belief. It's not going to be because you're trying to reframe the circumstance in your mind. It's because you step into a new version of yourself. Okay? That doesn't even need to care about that stuff. All right? All right. I'll see you all later. Have a great day. Bye.